Hey guys, do you remember that time when Soundblaster wasn't Soundblaster? I'm talking about the animated Electrostatic Soundwave, who looks an awful lot like Soundblaster, and his partner Ratbat, who in a previous review I mistakenly called Buzzsaw. There's also a QC issue here that we have to talk about. There's a whole lot to explore, surprisingly, with this old release in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, let 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All that's in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Now, for anybody here who is already in the know, yes, we're back after a couple of weeks. I was down and out a little bit with some technical issues, notably a fan that had died in my computer. Starscream Wife was able to fix it. However, a little while ago, we looked at the animated version of Soundwave and Laserbeak, and I mentioned there that there was a Soundblaster repaint that came with a keytar that I believed at the time to be Buzzsaw. My memory is trash, man. Comes with getting older. It's actually Electrostatic Soundwave with really a Soundblaster coloration, and the keytar is indeed Ratbat. And I didn't realize that this was also on loan in the bag of items that I have from Maximal 10. Otherwise, I would have done this one in conjunction with the previous Soundwave review. Nevertheless, we're going to take a look at this guy now. However, in exploring him, I realized two things. One, I had an opportunity to look at the transformation going from vehicle, the way he comes in, going from robot back to vehicle, because we already looked at the way he comes in package, vehicle to robot, once before. And two, I quickly realized that there was something peculiar about his stance, something completely baffling, I suppose, about what was going on with his knees and his legs, until I realized that there was a QC issue. It's not super major, but it certainly has a bit of an effect. I will try my best to address it in the review. It's a little bit difficult to show, so bear with me if the focus or some such thing goes out during the review at that point. It's only for a moment to show what the QC issue is with the knees. A little hard to explain here, but you'll see what I mean when we get to it. Taking that aside, and assuming you didn't have a QC issue, how good is this guy? Well, we're about to find out together when we head over to the table. Now I know what you're thinking. This must be the animated Soundblaster. I really, really wish I had noticed that Maximal 10 had this in the bag as well, because I would have done it the same week that we looked at Soundwave with Laserbeak. This is not Soundblaster, this is Electrostatic Soundwave, and he's upgraded from Laserbeak to have a new partner in Ratbat. And it's so weird because I have the bio sheet, and I'll show that in a moment, but like it talks about how he's gotten into westerns, it talks about how Ratbat, who I mistakenly said was Buzzsaw in the, I guess, original, the regular Soundwave review. It's not Buzzsaw, it's Ratbat. Apparently Ratbat can fire like lightning bolts and helps him have the power now with this guy being Electrostatic Soundwave. Not Soundblaster, Electrostatic Soundwave. Now he can like control the minds of other bots. Not just their actions, but like he's down with like full mind control, and for some reason he's gotten into westerns. What a weird, quirky take on Soundwave. This one, however, also, as previously mentioned, has a QC issue that even Maximal 10 didn't know about. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But first, let's take a note of the bio here and the instructions and whatnot are on the other side. But down here, that is absolutely not good accessory storage. Like, at least with Laserbeak, I don't know, he laid down easier on the top. It wasn't great, but I don't know, at least it looked like it sort of fit. This is just terrifying, seeing that on the top of the vehicle mode. And on the other side, of course, we do have the instructions, which we've seen before. And here we have keytar, Ratbat. I'm just going to show the keytar up close for a second before we do the transformation. You can see all of the keys are nice and colored in there. You can see the whole Ratbat head, which by the way will go turned up like this for the transformation, so I guess I'll do that now. Great, great head sculpt. I'm just going to take it back a little bit here again. And here we have Ratbat as a keytar, and actually I guess it should technically be this way, and I'll explain why in a second. But you can see very nicely sculpted, very nice detail. The Ratbat head up there, I mean, is noticeable, but like it just looks like it fits with this keytar design. I said that it should be the other way because the feet are actually right here for his other mode, and I always tend to turn the head the wrong way. So the head should actually, based on this orientation, be turned upside down. And then really what we're doing is we're splitting the keytar thusly, and you can see now the whole thing is upside down, and we turn it around like this. And I don't know if there's a way to actually get him to stand up. I feel like that's a challenge with this guy, getting him to actually stand. Maybe if is there anything I can do with the wings here? I don't think so. The transformation is very easy. I mean, this wing moves. This wing does as well a little bit. Not a lot of movement here. Gigantic wingspan on the guy though. Like this is huge. I love the look of this. I love the paint detail. I love the sculpt. I even like the transformation. I just wish that the articulation was a little bit more. And in terms of the head, I guess the head has articulation left and right. I mean, it's not much, but it's a little bit of something. These are the feet that tab into the top of Electrostatic Soundwave when we get to him. Overall for this guy, I don't know. The look, I'm going to say 10 because it just looks cool. The transformation is very simple. I'm going to say 10 for that. It's fun to flick it back and forth. The articulation, I mean, is a 1. There's a very little movement here, so I have to acknowledge it, but not much. Again, much like with Laserbeak, this guy will be an excellent accessory to use with Electrostatic Soundwave. And so here we have Soundwave and Electrostatic Soundwave. Most of us would look at this and say it's Soundwave and Soundblaster, but that's not the way that they did it in animated. And you'll notice that Soundwave is standing upright, straight, normal, but Electrostatic Soundwave, or the one that most people will know as Soundblaster, is not. He's kind of bow-legged. That's because there's a QC issue here, a misassembly issue, and I'm going to do my best to show you that now because, of course, a visual speaks louder than words. Now you may or may not notice the blue hinge here at the knee and the black one here at this knee. They are difficult to see. This one is straight, and you'll notice that the hinge is pretty much flush, but this one is up a little bit. That's because the ball socket that the thigh goes into actually has a side that is almost flat and a side that is ridged more. The way it's supposed to look is like this. This is the correct way, and like I said, in here, this ridge is almost flush. Not quite, but almost. It has a thicker ridge on the inside of the knee. This is the correct way. However, with Electrostatic Soundwave, the problem is that this one doesn't look like that. The thicker ridge is now on the inside of the leg. It should be, or I guess on the outside of the leg, I guess I should say. It should be on the inside of the knee, not the outside. This whole knee assembly is on backwards in right here. This whole knee assembly, this whole knee assembly right here, all of this, all needs to be taken off and all needs to be rectified. I'm not sure how easy or hard it is to take it off. It's not mine, so I'm not going to mess with it, but it does mean that the guy cannot stand up straight. And here, of course, we have Electrostatic Soundwave in all of his glory, and just a couple of things worth noting here about the look of the guy, because that's where we'll start with the scores. I'm going to give him a 9, which is the same score that I gave the regular animated Soundwave. Things here that could have been slightly improved upon. It's not a lot, but a little bit. We're missing, for example, a little bit of red detail on the arm. The chest, I'm pretty sure, shouldn't be red and gold. I'm pretty sure that the screen is still black. I think around it is still silver. I think the Decepticon logo is still supposed to be purple. On his hips, I guess you could say we're missing a little bit of a red line detail. Nothing major. It's obvious who the guy is, but I'm going to give it a 9 because there's a couple of things that could have been improved upon. Although I do like this kind of motif. I'm not going to lie. In terms of the articulation, I gave the original a, what was it? 8.75 if I'm not mistaken. This guy's going to be slightly less because of the misassembly issue at the knees. However, the head, like that still goes left and right. It still can go up if you break the sculpt a little bit. The shoulders are still wonky, but again, if you do the whole Power of the Primes, Rodimus Prime, Evolution Rodimus Prime thing, you can get a little more range out of them up near the head. We have 90 degrees there at the elbow, and the elbow has a swivel, of course. The hand can go in, but nothing really there. There is a very tight waist, which is cool. We still have the inward knee bend. But the outward now, of course, isn't quite straight because of that misassembly issue, which is a bit of a bummer. Legs can go way back. Legs can go way forward. Knee still to about, it's not quite 90, but 85 degrees. Foot down, and I don't, oh, there is an ankle tilt. Ankle tilt, which is nice. And if you want to do like your hips out to the side, I do feel like this guy's hips go out a bit further, actually. I don't know why. But I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for the misassembly issue, I mean, this guy would still be an 8.75, even with the wonky shoulders. That's really the only weakness he has. I suppose one could say wrist swivel, but I forgive that. But because of the misassembly issue, I got to drop it from an 8.75 to, you know, it doesn't, not that it affects a whole lot, but it does affect it a little bit, so I'm going to drop it to an 8. A 9 for the look, an 8 for the articulation. The guy's getting an 8.5. Let's do the transformation, see how that works out. We already looked at it. The way it comes in package, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that that's the way I looked at it when I looked at the other guy. I don't really remember now for sure. I just checked, it was the way that I did him, which is good because now I can show the transformation in the other direction going from robot back to the way he comes in package. So if you do want to see the way that you should transform him fresh out of package, then have a look at episode 1181. If you want to, you know, you've had him on your shelf for some years and you don't quite remember how to do the transformation back to vehicle, then stick around because we're going to do it right now. It's not hard though. Let's fold into hands because otherwise we're going to totally forget to do that. And, oh, you know what? I take back, the red is on his hips. I take that criticism back. I don't think it's enough to change his score, but I do take that criticism back. Cool. The head, we can flip that up as well. The waist, let's turn that around, I think. Yeah, I think that's the way we're supposed to do this. Yeah. We'll open out a tire. We'll open out a tire. We're going to bring that in on the side. Bring that in on the side. We're going to open that foot piece out, and we're going to take this knee piece. Oh, and this is tight, man. This is tight. We're going to take this knee piece, and why am I not able to turn this now? There we go. There we go. Woo! We're going to take that knee piece, and we're going to turn it around at the knee, and bring this up over, and bring that knee piece up over the front. Okay, that wasn't as elegant as I was hoping it was going to be. Let's get this arm up out of the way. Let me show the leg a little more elegant here now. I hope I show the leg a little more elegant. We bring this in, we bring the foot down, we rotate the knee up. And then we take the shin and we bring it in. Now, we should be able to bring both of these down and tab these two legs together, tab the feet together, bring it in on the top up here. On this side, we should now be able to, oh, I forgot to bring the chest down, my mistake. I was going to bring that in first, but I'm going to bring the chest down first. The chest is up on the guy's body, and again, much like with the other Soundwave, you gotta bring the chest down, but it's a bit of a bear to do it. I don't particularly like it. And when you bring it down, you have these two little slots that should have these two notches slot into them to kind of sort of hold it there in place, like that. Then we should be able to collapse that door up and in, And do the same over here. Collapse the shoulder in, collapse the like bicep and stuff all the way up, and bring that door in. Solidify all this and give it a little squeeze, tight little squeeze there, and boom, in the end, here you have our boy in his vehicle mode, and I love the look of this. It is very Wild Rider slash Combined Wars Off-Road-esque in terms of coloration. Love the detail up here. Of course, we can incorporate Ratbat like this. I mean, no one's ever gonna notice, right? I did try putting him on in like keytar mode, but the way his feet are, there's a little ridge there and I can't get it to work. Maybe you have fiddled with it enough and you could get it to work, but I don't think it does. I think this is the only way to attach Ratbat to the top of this vehicle mode. Man, I would not want to have to encounter this on the highway, especially while it's changing lanes. That would be just terrible. The transformation is the same as it was before. I think I gave it something like a 7.75 before, something like that. Overall score for the regular Soundwave has the guy fall at somewhere around an 8.5. This guy is very similar. In fact, there are things I do like about this guy more. I was prepared when I first started fiddling with him to say if the original is an 8.5, then this guy's an 8.75 overall. However, after discovering the misassembled knees, I'm going to have to score him a little bit lower. So if the original is an 8.5, this guy's more like an 8, maybe an 8.2. If yours doesn't have the QC issue, then he's fantastic, if not better than the original. If yours does have a similar QC issue, well, he's still good. But you know, who wants their electrostatic Soundwave to forever have to be bow-legged? Overall score, I'm going to settle on an 8.25, but I understand why some people might score it higher if they avoid the QC. Make of that what you will. And here we are once again, here he is. So, I mean, it's essentially the Soundwave. If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. It's going to have the same strengths and the same weaknesses that did. I do find that the panels on the arms are a slight hindrance. No big deal. I do wish that the storage of Ratbat in vehicle mode here was better instead of like this. I wish that there was a way to do the keytar on top and flat, kind of like we did with Laserbeak, and maybe there is a way to do it that I'm missing, but I don't seem to see it. And maybe there's like a fan mode or something where it can happen. I don't know. As it is, this is okay, but the misassembled knees are a real bummer, making this guy always have a bow-legged stance. I think I prefer the regular Soundwave over this, but at the end of the day, structurally speaking, they should be the same thing in terms of articulation and transformation. It really depends on whether or not you prefer a more traditional Soundwave look with the blues and the golds, or something a little more sinister with the reds and the grays and the blacks. It's kind of up to you. And do you prefer keytar Ratbat or guitar Laserbeak? It's a matter of degrees with this guy. Great mold, too bad about the misassembly. Luckily, he's still able to transform in both modes and still has respectable, I guess, articulation. He's good, but I think just on a personal note, just on a subjective note, I prefer the kind of normal release of Soundwave a little bit more. In terms of an objective score and objective assessment, it's every bit as good as the original, if not a little cooler because of the coloration. But that is going to have to be up to you, my friends. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Man, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single solitary day, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here, inside the videos.